Okay, so unless you've been living under a rock for the last few months and have strayed away from all forms of social media and the internet in general, you would have seen the news that I myself alone have repeated many times, that James Gunn and Peter Safran are the new co-CEOs of the newly formed DC Studios. The new dynamic duo will be overseeing all forms of media content released by Warner Bros. And DC Comics over what I think is a decade at least. And at time of recording, announcements are due to be made fairly soonish. There's no definitive date yet, but before that came along, I thought I would make a list of the things that I personally would like to see from DC Studios going forward. So hello there, I am Matt from Geekstalgia, and here are 9 things that I would like to see from DC Studios going forward. Number 9, mixed media content. Now, I'm pretty sure that we are all aware that most of the money for DC Studios we pumped into the big tentpole movies to be released in theatres and get our bums in the seats. And as much as I like going to the cinema to see these movies, I also like to see more focus on other stuff, mixed media content, as we said. Things like TV shows, cartoons, comic books that tie in, video games, all that kind of stuff to get us invested in what James Gunn and Peter Safran are making. However, one little addendum to that, as much as I would like to see all this mixed media content, if we can have it so you don't have to consume everything to understand the big overarching story, that would be awesome. I think the biggest criticism I have of Marvel and what they're producing now is it feels like you do need to consume everything to understand what's going on. And as much as I like having all this content, because if it didn't exist, I wouldn't have much to talk about on these videos, it is pretty exhausting having to try keep up with everything that is going on. Now, I know it would be difficult to do, but if you can have stuff that does tie in, but doesn't have to be consumed to understand everything that's going on, that'd be great. Maybe I'm asking for too much for this one. Who knows? Number 8, the Batman animated series revival. Now, one of my favorite things of any kind of superhero geek culture content is the Batman animated series from the early 90s, voiced by the dearly departed Kevin Conroy. That animated series was fantastic. You can never top that. However, was it early this year, 2022, late last year, it was announced that Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and Bruce Timm were producing a new animated series that was supposedly going to tie into Matt Reeves' The Batman universe. That, unfortunately, was recently canned by Warner Bros. Before the announcement of DC Studios. But that show did get me very excited, and I would like to see that revived or picked up again by James Gunn and Peter Safran. Please, 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 I would like to see that. Number 7, lesser known characters. Now, DC are well known for their trinity of characters, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. A lot of people know now The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, of course, Harley Quinn, the Joker, but DC have a wealth, an absolute wealth of characters that they could bring up and show onto the world. Characters like Plastic Man, Hawkgirl, The Question, who would make an excellent series. If you ask me, I would love to see that. He was excellent in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. I would like to see more of him. There are so many characters that you could do miniseries, cartoons, longer format series. You don't need to all be in big budget movies to take a risk on. You could do what Disney Plus are doing. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself from an earlier point, but if you want to make more content, more series of these lesser known characters to kind of usher them in onto the world, I'm all for that. It worked for Marvel. Who knew about Iron Man, Captain America 4 before the MCU came along? Start small, get these characters out there. Also, the Question series would be awesome. Please, James Gunn and Peter Safran, if you're watching this, please. Number 6, less Joker. Now, this one kind of ties into the previous one about lesser known characters. The Joker is well known and he's probably the most famous comic book villain of all time, but he is, in my opinion, overused. I would like to see less of him. Now, I get that people think, oh, Batman is nothing without the Joker. Batman has a huge rogues gallery. I would love to see Mr. Freeze, Clayface as a live action adaptation. That would be cool. Mad Hatter, kill him off. Condiment King, make Condiment King a new Batman villain. That would be cool. Just less Joker. He's just overdone now. As much as I love the Batman, his sort of cameo at the end, although very well played by the actor who I'm not going to try and pronounce his name because I don't know how to say it, Barry something, Barry K, we'll call him. it did feel very shoehorned in at the end. Same with Batman Begins. Yes, we did get Heath Ledger's amazing performance, Oscar-winning posthumous performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight, but that little turn of the card at the end of Batman Begins wasn't necessary. Please, less Joker. Number 5, a big picture story. Now, what worked best for the MCU was this knowledge that there was something larger at play, something big was coming. All these little breadcrumbs, these little nuggets of information, these cameos that were built, the post-credit scenes that were building towards that big end game story were fantastic, and it worked so well. I would like to see that from DC as well, to feel that interconnectedness. I know, again, I'm contradicting something I said earlier by saying you don't need to consume everything, please, but this knowledge that there is a larger world, a larger universe that you're building towards, a big story with a big payoff at the end, that'd be awesome. Don't do it straight away like DC recently made. I say recently, DC first made the mistake of with the Justice League movie and Batman v Superman, just blowing your load straight away on something that you're just trying to shoehorn in to catch up with what Marvel were doing. Slow build, slow burn, get there. You've got us hooked. We want to see this. You don't need to give us everything straight away. Slow bites, please. Number 4, keep it individual. Now, I know I said I'd like a big picture story, but again, like I said earlier, don't feel like you need to make everything so interconnected that you have to watch everything to understand what's going on. I would like to see more interpersonal stories as well, kind of like what Black Panther Wakanda Forever did, kind of buck the trend of what Marvel are doing, where it's kind of an insular personal story. There wasn't this kind of need and feel that there is this wider world. We know it's out there, we've seen all the other stuff that's out there, but that one felt really personal, and I liked that a lot, and I'd like to see more of that in the upcoming DC stuff. Number 3, Green Lantern. Now, I know I said I'd like to see lesser known characters, but I would love to see Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps make an appearance to redeem themselves from that Ryan Reynolds movie from a few years ago. What you could do is something on the other end of the scale. I know I'd like to see the Question series, make that a real low down, gritty, personal story, street level story, and then you can have the other end of the scale, a big Star Wars, Star Trek-esque, epic extravaganza, sci-fi wonderness. That's not a word. That is the Green Lantern Corps. You can have this small story, big story, all the stuff in between. But yeah, I would love to see a huge Green Lantern sci-fi movie. Or movies, that'd be cool. Give us, I know I said I want less content, but just give me everything, please. Number 2, build around Superman. Superman was the original, the first, what made superheroes who they are today. Build around him. He is this center of good that you could build this huge overarching story around. I would love to see that. Now, at time of recording on the 8th of December 2022, there is a rumor going around that the recently announced Henry Cavill deal as Superman may not be as done of a deal as it was made out to be. There are rumors going around today, which I hope are not true, that Henry Cavill might not actually be returning as Superman. If that is true, bit of a bummer, but if they cast him right again, I'll be okay with it. But I would like to see Henry Cavill as Superman, but more importantly, I would like to see the character, the true character that is Superman. And number 1, hope and light. Now, DC have got this reputation for being very dark and gritty. There's even a joke about it in Deadpool 2. Now, I know a lot of the neckbeard fans think that Batman has to be really dark and gritty and low down and rated R.
Yes, you've got a question?
I always felt Batman was best suited in the role of gritty urban crime detective, but now you guys have him up against Santas and Easter bunnies? I'm sorry, but that's not my Batman.
No, he does not need to be. He can be. I'll watch it, that's cool. The Batman from Matt Reeves was excellent, but I also really liked the 1966 Batman series. I quite enjoyed Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Come at me.
Batman's rich history allows him to be interpreted in a multitude of ways. To be sure, this is a lighter incarnation, but it's certainly no less valid and true to the character's roots as the tortured Avenger crying out for mommy and daddy.
You've got characters like Superman. I don't want to see the story of Superman. What if Superman turned bad? Or what if Superman used his power to take over the world? We don't need to see that. I want to see the Superman that smiles and cares for people and cares for the world and helps and saves people. Things like the Superman and Lois series, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman is corny as hell and I love it, and I want to see more of that Superman. And I'd like to see more of that throughout all of DC. The theme of hope, that is what superheroes are for me. They are symbols of hope in trying times. If we can have that theme throughout, yes, you can have your dark and gritty if you really, really need it. But as long as we got that theme of hope and the light at the end of the tunnel, that'd be awesome. Also, you can be funny. Don't go full on overboard like Marvel have recently and all the quips as if it was written by Joss Whedon and I'm watching an episode of Buffy. You can be funny. You can be sad. Give me all the emotions, but most of all, give me hope. And that, guys, was a video of me rambling about what I would like to see from DC Studios going forward. What would you like to see from DC Studios going forward? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, if you want to do those wonderful YouTube things like, share, subscribing, it's always massively appreciated when you do. But until more stuff comes out from DC, Marvel, whoever it might be, whatever videos I make, until the next one, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of fellow humans, and I hope to see you all again soon.